how are you today? Hope you and your family are healthy and well. First of all, I would like to thank the International Trade Council for the invitation and you for sharing this time with me. My name is Camila Zakka and I have been mediating disputes for the past 5 years and studying about it for the past 7. Today, we will talk about why mediation is good for business. As conflicts and disputes are part of life and business in any society, and as Mary Parker Foley once wrote, all polishing is done by friction, I invite you today to look at disputes as an opportunity. An opportunity to maximize gains and distribute them fairly, to overcome communication barriers, to develop a deeper understanding of people's needs and interests, and to create a setting in which people feel empowered rather than repressed. Furthermore, an opportunity to honor the corporate values we treasure so much, even in the most challenging times. I want to start our discussion with a sentence from a book called The Handbook of Dispute Resolution. That disputes arise is not remarkable. What is remarkable is the extraordinary variety of ways in which people choose to deal with these differences when they arise. It is this diversity of experiences and approaches that makes the study of dispute resolution so rich, so rewarding, and sometimes so frustrating. I'm sure you all heard about mediation, but as old habits die hard and litigation is still the default process when we have a dispute, let's remember a few things. Before you think that I'm another mediator saying mediation is the answer to your prayers, I promise you I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is to suggest you approach disputes the same way you approach every other aspect of your business, intelligently and strategically. So let's start. When we talk about the dispute resolution landscape, there are 3 main processes for resolving disputes: litigation, arbitration, and mediation. Within this landscape, we can include negotiation, facilitation, mutual evaluation, mini trials, combined forms such as MED-ARB, ARB-MED, and so on. As the landscape is highly dependable of the place and culture we are in, and as far as I'm concerned, litigation, arbitration, and mediation are the most common processes, let's establish that they are the main 3 dispute resolution options. And what do we usually hear someone involved in a lawsuit or arbitration say? They complain about the process, the outcome, the people involved, lawyers, judges, other parties. No one gets away with it. They say that it's a waste of time, money. Were not satisfied with the outcome. They feel helpless with no control, did not get or are not getting what they wanted. They sense the process is endless, and so on. Or, on the other hand, they did get what they wanted and crushed the other party. Now, they have to enforce the decision or wait for appeals. That does not mean that litigation and arbitration are evil and need to be wiped off the surface of the earth. It means that you can go to an apple tree expecting to find cherries or to a drugstore to fix your broken arm. Each process is designed to serve a purpose, and it won't deliver differently. So what is mediation? In 2 words, we can define mediation as facilitated negotiation, and is oriented, guided by 5 core characteristics: self-determination, voluntariness, informed consent, impartiality, and confidentiality. By voluntariness, we mean that participation in most mediations is voluntary, as is staying in mediation. By informed consent, we mean that the parties are entitled to have all relevant information that they need in order to make an informed decision about settlement. Impartiality, with few exceptions, the mediator has no professional, personal, or financial connections with the parties, their counsel, or the issue that need to be resolved. Confidentiality means that, also with a few exceptions, that the discussions that take place in mediation are legally protected from disclosure and the parties' agreement to mediate. Mediation's flexibility and informality allow us to work in different settings. We can have joint sessions, private sessions, we can work in co-mediation when we work with another mediator, with two mediators. We can have online mediations, uh, in-person mediations, conference call mediations. And as compared to adjudication, arbitration, and litigation, mediation focuses on the future, points of view and relationships, parties foreground as opposed to lawyers foreground, solutions are interest-based and custom-made, understanding is key as opposed to being right or wrong, and outcomes are collaborative as opposed to win or lose. Instead of going through each and every advantage of mediation, which you can easily find online, and if you're interested, I recommend you look for Thomas Spanowicz's articles, Why Businesses Need Mediation and Living with ADR. I want to focus on what I believe is one of the most important advantages of mediation and very coherent with the context we are living: flexibility. As Charles Darwin once, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, is the one that is most adaptable to change. And we have been seeing proof of it every single day, haven't we, since the pandemic started? How many of us adapt? We went online, we started to invest in digital marketing, online training, home office, and so on. That is why, from my perspective, mediation's flexibility is its most important feature. It's what allows us to keep away issues related to rigid structures like process and time, so we can focus on what really matters to us. Because of it, we can adjust the format of meetings, shifting from joint to private, so we can keep the conversation going, or even to online meetings, because of COVID, or because one of the parties simply live across the globe. It is also because of its flexibility that we can engage experts on the matter when they are needed, that we can choose criterion or criteria we will work with, and as a result, solutions are created to meet needs and interests, leading us to an 80% rate of settlements being made in mediation, and the fact that parties are more likely to comply with an agreed upon settlement as compared to an outcome ordered by a third party. If no settlement is achieved, people might feel like it was a waste of time and effort, which is not necessarily true. Once issues tend to be much clearer after mediation, and it might have created a route leading to other processes. There is also a concern with free or limited discovery, which can and should be discussed with the lawyers in charge of the case, as they are the most indicated professionals to tell you if the timing is right for mediation. As the mediator has no power to oblige compliance, it is extremely important to have a very well-written agreement with provisions for the non-compliance of its terms. The limited development of the law is often brought up against the expansion of mediation. The fear is that the spread of private dispute resolution processes might prevent legal progress. According to professors Sander and Ruziczer, mediation is almost always a superior starting process. Even if mediation does not produce settlement, it becomes a route leading to other processes, and they say that any party would be better off than if he or she had gone straight to litigation, because mediation is more likely to produce a Pareto superior result than is adjudication. It is more likely to be responsive to the needs of both parties to the dispute. So, as compared to other dispute resolution processes, mediation can provide an opportunity for a superior outcome by expanding parties' understanding and perspectives on the situation, interests and needs, and legal alternatives to an agreement. That being said, why is mediation good for business? Disputes are part of life, and they will arise. We might as well be prepare to deal with them in the best way we can. No one needs to tell a CEO or a manager that he or she should have the company's stakeholders, employees, clients, or customers' best interests in mind when running the business, right? But what is the mindset when disputes arise? Do you think it's the same? Usually, what happens is, and I saw it happen again and again in a previous life when I was a lawyer, people try to negotiate, and if negotiations fail, or relationship sours, they give a call to the lawyers and move ahead with litigation or arbitration. And then there is someone else in charge of the process and its outcomes. Within business contexts, disputes can arise between partners, management, teams, employees, with other businesses, with clients, customers. And we all know that in businesses, relationships matter, creating value is extremely important, and that is not always about the money. There is usually something else behind those numbers, what we call interests. That is so true that we take our clients to lunch, ask about the family, how a past struggle unfolded, what happened to that side project or hobby, and that is because people want and expect to be treated with respect, want to be heard, tell their stories, and have their interests met. And every business has core values, right? From a business perspective, setting core values makes it easier to make decisions, quickly communicate principles to clients and customers, and hire employees with the right attitude. After some quick research on the internet, I found some common corporate values that I would like to share with you. Generosity, fairness, pursuit of excellence, community involvement, innovation, concern for employees' welfare, integrity, boldness, honesty, trust, accountability, commitment to customers, passion, fun, humility, continuous learning, ownership, constant improvement, leadership, diversity, innovation, quality, teamwork, and simplicity. Let me ask you something. Do people have them in mind when dealing with disputes? Do you think they are consistent with the way disputes are usually dealt with the default dispute resolution processes? In other words, do you think disputes are addressed with the same mindset, intelligence, strategy that are used to address every other aspect of our businesses? If you don't, how do you think it would be to do so? How much value would it add to your brand, to your clients, to your suppliers, and employees? If you're thinking about how to translate your company's core values into dispute resolution, do you think mediation might be a good place to start? In the world we live in, we have very broad concerns that can affect our businesses in very specific ways that are usually in line with the company's core values. We need to move fast, adapt and adjust rapidly, grow consistently, avoid wasting resources, which is usually why mediation is more suited to help in times of trouble. It provides a framework that increases the ability of business people to adjust relationships and resolve problems straightforwardly, efficiently, and effectively, without losing control of the outcome to someone else. Last but not least, we do business with people we like, and the ultimate test for any relationship is how we deal with each other when difficulties arise. In times like the one we are facing, over a year of pandemic, intermittent lockdowns, huge impacts on businesses and people's lives, I can assure you, the way we choose to deal with our disputes will be remembered. As you probably realized by now, I'm a quote kind of person, and there's a quote by Maya Angelou that I'm especially fond of, and I would like to share it with you. People will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you.